a little late in the week, but Ian's gonna go ahead and refresh y'all's memory of the game on Sunday because that's probably as long as we're gonna spend on that. So go ahead, Ian, take it away.
uh, yes. So the Rams versus Cowboys noon kickoff started terribly for the home fans. And no, I'm not talking about the 3 sacks and 4 plays, but the decision by the Jones clan to forego the Cowboys' iconic white uniforms at home. For ungodly reasons, they ditched the classiest jersey in the NFL, the foundation for their identity as America's team, for another terrible uniform. But I digress. Despite looking awful, Mike McCarthy and his staff had the boys ready. After an opening touchdown in an early 10-3 lead, the Cowboys ambushed the Rams, scoring 16 points within 2 minutes. Complimentary football was once again king, as both the defense and special teams contributed to the scoreboard. Rain Dakota Prescott played his part by dishing out the rock effectively, especially targeting Slime Man himself, CD Lamb, who would end the half with 9 catches for 122 yards and 2 touchdowns. Perhaps the only hiccup in the opening 30 minutes was a red zone turnover and a late Rams touchdown drive, making the score 33-9. The Rams continued to build momentum by opening the second half with a touchdown drive, cutting the Cowboys' lead to 2 scores. But Dak and them boys took it right back with a monster 17-play, 10-minute drive that concluded with a field goal, essentially ending the contest. With just a quarter to play and Stafford nursing his boo-boo, the Rams waved the white flag. Once again, the Dallas Cowboys, despite the Joneses' treachery, had their home fans feeling good with a 43-20 victory. So boys, yeah, like Justin said, and to start this off, let's just run through the game recap real quick. Well, talk about the game real fast. I guess my question to you guys, the Rams team is what do you say? What's the word? Are competent with Stafford and McCarthy and McVay, but that 2-minute blitz was impressive by the Cowboys. But to me, it was more impressive was that 17-play drive I mentioned that basically killed the game. Because I never believe a game's over in the first half. There's too much time. But so I kind of weigh that one heavier is more impressive. But am I curious? Am I wrong in thinking that was the game over? What were your guys' thoughts?
No,
I mean, no, it's too early to call a game there. I think, well, really, the 17 play drive, fantastic. To kill it. But I really loved what the defense was doing against the Rams wide receivers, especially when we talked about against the Chargers that we didn't look too hot in those positions. We had Bland making a few mistakes, got Gilmore there. But no, we made some plays this week, and we shut down what I thought would be a tough Rams receiving core to stop.
yeah, just the fact that you were able to end that 17-play drive with just that minimum of field goal was also encouraging to see because wasn't it like a 2-score game, even though it was like, 16 points? So, fact to make it 3 scores and kill all that time. That's that complimentary football that McCarthy always be talking about. So,
Yeah, and I don't mean to poo-poo on this man's grave, but I don't know if we're getting that with Kellen Moore. Is there anything else you guys?
Well, real quick, I'm okay with some Kellen Moore poo-pooing because the hype around him when he went to LA was a little too high for me. But no, okay, yeah, continue. Sorry.
Should I have a couple more points, but should we just move on to the Eagles?
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So I did mention this is another impressive game by the Cowboys at home with the fans just like, oh man, that's a snoozer. We just kicked their ass. Let's get out of here. Let's leave early, like Texas Ranger fans after winning the World Series. But it's not really the same. It's not really the same thing on the road for these Cowboys. I guess the offense did show up in Arizona, but did not show up in San Fran. And then New York was a monsoon, so we don't really know how they're doing. So there are and the defense, I think, yeah, they have even worse problems on the road. And we haven't seen this offense. Field. There's another one. So I hate to say before we even get into the X's and O's, but I think this is another huge test for the Cowboys, even though and the way we left San Fran. got me kind of nervous. Can anybody talk me off the ledge?
I don't know if I'll be able to talk you off the ledge. I can say that Philly can make some mistakes. So, like last week against Washington, they had 2 goal line fumbles, and we're known to take that ball away. But I will say also their receiving core is crazy good too, and they're just different animals than the Rams receiving core. AJ Brown is crazy right now, and so I don't know if I could talk you off the ledge as far as like man, Philly's just they can beat you in multiple ways, but and I know y'all don't like DeAndre Swift, but he can run the ball too. So I don't know if I'll be able to talk you off the ledge, but I will say that sometimes Philly beats themselves. Sometimes they turn the ball over with picks or fumbles. So I mean, it's not over. It's a division matchup. Hell, Washington gave them a game, but I'm a little worried.
I think the quarterback always plays well against that team, and that defense isn't as good as it was last year. So at the end of the day, that man kind of hot. And if they're gonna keep calling plays like they've been calling for him, especially with I hate to say it, going away from the run game, but throwing the ball around like they've been, I feel like it should be a competitive enough game that you have a shot.
And you hate to say it, but honestly, the way that the offensive line was blocking, I mean, you kind of got to switch up something. So I didn't mind that we were passing more than we did the week prior, and we were doing it well. So, I mean.
It sounds like you guys think it might be a high-scoring game, which I think it might.
I think it would be like both teams are in the low 20s. I don't think it's high scoring.
Really?
I just think everyone moves the ball, and then it's gonna be one of those games where maybe it's like 24-20 or something like that.
I can see one team getting in the low 30s, the other in the high 20s.
Yeah, I think I'm more inclined to agree with Rudy on this one. Not that it matters, but I just think that it also relies on Justin's point too, that Mr. Rain Dakota Prescott's going to have to be kind of like how he has been these last 2 weeks, just pretty close to perfect. And I think he can outduel Hurts, but that is the point into which, or that's how we're going to win, is probably through him. Because I'm not sure how this defense will play on grass away. And I think Philly's run game, it has nothing to do with DeAndre Swift. It just has to do with just their good blocking and good.
They've been kind of stinky running the ball the past couple of weeks.
Fair enough. But AJ Brown does have me concerned
because he crying for the ball all day. Hey, if I'm Devontae Smith, I need to have a closed door meeting because this is unacceptable. Like, even though I was praising that man AJ 2 weeks ago, but Jalen Hurts is OD with force feeding that man the ball. Like,
I mean, and it's crazy too because like it is force feeding, but I mean the man's hungry. He's getting everything. He's just swallowing the ball up out the air every time.
Well, see, here's a stupid thing too. They'll go down like double digits. And they're just like, oh, I guess we have to give him the ball. And then it just turns around from there. And it's just like, well, why don't I just give him the ball to start the game? Why y'all always just like wait till everything's just falling apart?
Well, again, so like they started the game with 2 turnovers in the red zone. And then they explode for 38. They just stopped turning the ball over. But I mean, they're there. They're always attacking. It's not like they were punting, early.
Yeah. Well, I don't have too much more to talk about regarding the Philadelphia Steagles, but we could get into the trade deadline. Yes. Sure. There's the argument on one hand that all the competitors in the NFC made moves to get better, and you can believe that, or it seems like there's basically 2 lines drawn. The other line the other parties arguing that the Cowboys already made their moves in the offseason. They got their players, and they're not going to just sign somebody who's good if they have depth, or at least that's kind of what I believe. Even if he's a good player, I don't think nobody really made a move that really, really impressed me that is really like the Eagles or the Niners standard. I mean, yes, that's my point, though. They already have depth
The idea of him is just better than what reality is.
I mean, maybe. I will say this. I think it's super disingenuous to be like, the Dallas Cowboys made their moves in the offseason, your team was different in the offseason. I do always think you should try to improve where you can improve, but just to trade for trade's sake doesn't make sense either. Don't force it if the right player's not available. I know there was I think there was one offensive line traded this deadline because there really wasn't much available. I don't believe in forcing it. So, but I also wouldn't mind if we did do something.
Well, you gotta understand, in this new era of Steven Jones running the crew, if you need a new contract, you ain't getting traded to no Cowboys. Them boys don't like handing out money. And granted, I think me and Ian were discussing this a couple days ago. Like, everyone wants to poo poo, well, they all this cap space, and they always want to talk about they want to pay their own players. Well, if your own player, it's not like they're paying I don't know, not to throw stray at this man. It's not like they're paying the Terrence Newmans of the world. It's it's Travion Diggs, CD Lamb, Micah Parsons. These are good, top tier players in their positions. So if the money's going there, I don't know how you can cry about, well, they have the cap space, so why aren't they trading for this other player that needs a contract when they're already allotting that money for those people within the team that have a contract or that need a contract.
Yeah. I also kind of have a working theory that the Jones boys know they're kind of trash at negotiating, or know that they're going to get taxed for being the Cowboys, and they just can't swing a good deal unless they really, really need to, like they did with Amari. I think they know they could be taken.
I will say, and again, it's Jerry's quote, so and I know Steven takes care of more things now, but I think he said something along the lines of oh yeah, everyone wants more trades, but when you're the one actually making the trades, you remember the losses more, or something like that. I believe in anything though. You can't play scared. So if it was we had a chance to get him, but we didn't want to risk that he would turn out poorly.
Okay. Who is he?
Let's start identifying solutions here. Though.
No. Okay, fine.
There's a lot of theory. I know. Let me just phrase like this. There's been a lot of theories about the trades and what you should do and what it means to the team and momentum and all that crap. But I had never heard a really viable solution. Rudy mentioned the lineman that moved from the Vikings to the Jags. That kind of turned my head just because, there's a lineman available. And because I think that's a need the Cowboys have. And the positions of need, I think, would be lineman, linebacker, or cornerback to replace Diggs. But if you really get into it, if there's a piece available, like Justin's already said, where's that money? How long is he going to stay on the team? I don't see how that works. Linebackers in the lineman position, though, I didn't think there was much available already in that opportunity that just left cornerback.
I feel like in the NFL, I feel like it's not like the NBA, where if you're getting traded, you're more than likely gonna be one or two things or both things. You're either gonna need a contract, or you just falling out of favor with that organization or that team. And more often than not, no one's just gonna give up on a player that's on a rookie contract unless they're just not very good. I'm not really interested in change the scenery guy in the middle of the season.
Yeah, no, and don't get me wrong. I think like what the Bears did with Montez Sweat, giving up a second round pick for a guy who's going to be a free agent in the summer. I don't like that kind of move either. So I'm not saying that. I guess if Jerry had just straight up said well, for our positions in need, there just wasn't anything available, that's fine. But I don't like him saying I'm scared of things. It's fine for me to hear that there wasn't someone we need right now. That's okay.
But Rudy, I mean, you've been following this team long enough. How many times does Jerry Jones just talk?
And that's fair. That's why I prefaced it. Saying I know Steven does more of the moves. I know that.
But even it doesn't matter who's pulling the strings. Just don't listen to Jerry, bro. Jerry just gonna.
It was just a dumb quote.
Okay, so lastly, I think the only cornerback that was available was Jalen Johnson for the Bears.
Yeah.
I don't know too much about him. You guys have any contract? Okay. Yeah. So that goes back to Justin's argument. I think that's it. Now, with the Cowboys not making a move, there are other teams around, teams around them in the NFC did make moves. People are kind of worried about Seahawks. getting Dexter Lawrence, but I mean, I think they're just too
Leonard
far
Williams.
away.
Leonard
to
Williams.
Really, Leonard Williams, sorry. I just think they're too far away to really bother you. It's not moving them up from tier 2 to tier 1. That's not, so I'm not really too bothered by that. Lions getting better with.
Did they?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. But I mean, Rudy, is that these moves that these guys are making, is that a big enough move to really like push them into the playoffs for another 8 weeks? And is that would that?
The Lions one doesn't move me as much as Leonard Williams going to Seattle. I'm not going to pretend like Seattle's going to win that division. I know they're leading it right now, but hey, now I do think San Fran ends up winning that division. But still, I do think that we could get into. It's possible we end up in a wild card battle with them. And I'm not going to say like Leonard Williams is going to make a game of different, but maybe that does something. So that one I think moves the needle more than Detroit's does.
Were you impressed by any trades, Rudy?
Impressed? Honestly, when I saw the Leonard Williams trade, I didn't even realize that they were 5-2. I do think that's a good move. I think it's a good move. Impressed sounds a little strong, but it was solid. I can't really think of any other one that stands out. I mean, I know, Justin, you said his name supersedes his talent being Chase Young, but I do think that's also a pretty solid move too. So I would say those two are probably at the top of it.
The one that kind of impressed me was just Byard. I think that happened a week prior.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was prior to the deadline. Yeah, so Kevin Byard going to Philly too. Pretty solid move.
Now, Justin is shaking his head. But I will say this, that I will admit, I don't know. I have not watched Tennessee at all these last year and in this last season. So I don't know what he is. I just know his name, and that may be fall into the Chase Young category of, all right, it's a name, but I mean, he has a resume, but is he still that guy at 32?
I think he's just old man at this point. Like, because remember last year when they traded for Robert Quinn, everyone was like, oh, how could they let the Eagles do this? Howie Roseman again. And that man didn't even do anything. Like, he hardly got on the field. So it's just like, okay, all right, like, cool. Y'all have heard of this. Like, let's be honest, DFW media don't be watching other games other than the Cowboys. So they're like, oh, Kevin Byard, I heard of him. He had that spat with Dion back in, like, 2016, and then he danced on the star when they played when Amari got traded, and then he must still be good. I'm like, bro, that was like Obama administration. Like, come on, guys. Like,
he's definitely older. I don't think you're getting the All Pro he once was, but the Eagles secondary is kind of banged up, so I think it's still a solid pickup to bring in.
Yeah, because that white safety keeps getting hurt, Blankenship or whatever his name is, and then Edmonds. Oh. They said, bro, you can just go ahead and take this, man, after he let Tyreek Hill score that touchdown.
Bro, yeah, they got rid of him so quick.
All right, folks. As the president of the Running Back Matters Committee, let me do my weekly shout out to the running back that matters. And this is kind of a controversy within the own organization of my committee, because this week shout out goes to Jahmyr Gibbs. 152 rushing yards against a Raiders team that we will talk about later. But it is controversial because despite his outstanding performance, I mean, come on now. I know the man gets his love, but we be quick to forget a veteran running back like Montgomery. And what he's able to do.
That man
I know, but like
man's on the sideline and he still gets a shout out.
Well, because this is the thing is that he does, because he's been great. But it's quickly going to delve into lunacy football. Of this is why Jahmyr Gibbs got to be RB1. Even though that man was splitting times with some other fool who got hoed on a fumble strip. But I digress. Shout out to Jahmyr Gibbs. This ain't about what they say. This is about what you do, my boy. So outstanding performance. Shout out to you. We could start there, guys. on
Oh.
Monday
I don't
night.
think you've ever given an award with more disdain before.
No,
Because
see,
he knows
week
what
one,
he
DeAndre
knows what
Swift.
comes with it.
Okay.
He
That's
he knows what
hilarious.
comes with the backlash of giving this. This is like giving Macklemore the Emmy or whatever
Oh my goodness.
the
The
Grammy.
gamey.
Yeah,
All
because
right,
we know
but
what that's gonna bring.
let's work backwards, I guess, folks. So we'll start with Monday night because it was another future performance by the Raiders, and despite the players' valued performance of not on the field but griping to Mr. Mark Davis and the media for how stinky their coaching staff are and how they're not getting the ball. Devontae Adams, looking at you. They finally did it, folks. They got that man gone. The idiot in the visor is no longer haunting Las Vegas.
Bro, that visor had to go. I was just about to say before he got fired. I was like, either he gotta change. He either gotta get rid of his little gimmick of a outfit, or he's gotta get rid of the visor. He can't have both.
Yeah. That visor was terrible. But no, the Raiders finally did something right. Got rid of the man that they intended to get rid of last year if they were liquid with cash, and they weren't. And they got rid of the GM as well, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Good moves
So-
for them. But you still got the worst, not the worst, but he's terrible. Jimmy Garoppolo is.
He's big.
Oh, you hope.
He got kicked to
Dude.
the curb too.
I thought, wasn't he, oh, they're starting the other QB. That's right.
Yeah,
Well, that was a good move
O'Connell.
too. That man, Monday Night Football, Jimmy Garoppolo was awful, man. That was a terrible display to watch.
Bro.
Devontae Adams streaking down the left side, wide open. Hey, we can get out of bounds by 7 yards. Like, my goodness.
They benching Jimmy G. I can't believe it.
I mean,
About
let's
time.
be honest. Jimmy G will be back on the bench if he got more play time, anyways, with an injury. Respectfully, so like, it's the inevitable, and that's a McDaniel clone, bro. Like, he on that Patriot. Get that illness out of the building, bro, once and for all.
I don't know, man. That dude inspires the team. Despite his mediocrity, I don't know what he does, but that man
It's
be
what he
inspiring.
represents. He's
That
part of
man be
old
inspiring
regime.
his fellow players, except for Devontae Adams. But
The-
I don't know.
The beat reporters today were saying that everybody in the building was smiling. That this is the first time they've seen him as happy as possible. Bro, did y'all see the Max Crosby video on
No, I
their
didn't.
Twitter
No, I
account?
did not.
Oh. So they gave Matt Crosby the old iPhone to do the Twitter video. And he's like, "Hey y'all, Raider Nation, y'all need to show up to what is it, Allegiant Stadium?"
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all need to show up to Allegiant Stadium and talking about how it's gonna be fired up, and this man almost proceeds to drop an N-word. And he catches himself both with the NIG, and then he
Bruh.
proceeds to not re-record it. And then whoever posts the video, and it's been up for an hour. So
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, I hadn't seen that. To be fair, that is so on par for NFL locker room. He doesn't need to be saying that at all. That is very on brand though.
yeah, it's I couldn't. It was kind of funny, honestly, and if we're being honest, but nevertheless, the Lions. Oh, Ian, we forgot. We gotta shout out our boy, man. He actually did something this game.
Well, I was about to say that. Let's look over at the Lions and see how unserious they are by allowing the old man Marcus Peters to scamper down the sideline with a pick six with Jared Goof's ball. Just I don't know, man. They were so unserious, and I don't want to act like. I mean, they deserve some also poo-poo-iness for how they performed on Monday night, the Lions. But shout out to Marcus Peters for probably the best pick six we've seen in a while, with a nice pick, a hezzy, and then barely making it into the end zone because the man a veteran. But
what happened
nice.
to the oxygen tanks on the sideline?
He definitely needed it after that play. I guess they don't allow it in the domes. I don't know. But yeah, the Lions pretty unserious that Monday night. But
I feel like
let's
that's the Lions game is we put up we get it
They
to
should have smoked
Amon.
them.
We run the ball and we're unserious.
Oh,
That's
Rudy,
just
it was
them.
that game was like a coin flip headed into like the last 6 minutes of the game.
Well, and then there was like
I don't know
a
about
strip
that.
in the red zone, right? That Vegas forced a strip in the red
Justin,
zone.
I don't think you know how incompetent the Raiders were. Unless the Lions like scored on themselves, it was not a contest.
Bro, Jimmy G missed. Granted, the game was out of reach when that happened, but all it took was just to hit Adams one time for a big play or something.
Dude,
You're acting like Jimmy G
Apparently-
can make that throw.
an impossible task for that man.
Exactly, but I still like him. But anyways, let's move on from one unserious team in the NFC to the unserious team in the AFC. The Baltimore Ravens, people. Another stellar performance from Action Jackson.
Another fumble too.
Well, that goes with it.
It was
It's
kind of
just part
sad,
of
right? The sack fumble.
It's just a part of it. It's just a part of it.
Yeah, it was
you
something
know?
like that.
If he gets it out of the way early, then you should be fine. Although sometimes it could lead to more. But it is what it is. But the unseriousness award maybe go to Nelson Aguilar, who didn't know how to field an onside kick and basically gave the Cardinals hope. That game was like 24-7, 31-7 going into 6 minutes in the fourth. And the Cardinals made it respectable. I don't know how, but I guess Aguilar is how.
I guess,
But he made it tones. He made it tones.
The new Viking, Josh Dobbs, hit Hollywood, I think it was, in the end zone there. And the score looks better than what that game was. And I will also say, hey, winning in Arizona can be tough sometimes. But no, that's... I don't even know. I know it wasn't close the entire game, but it is just like the Ravens to let the other team come back and make it a game.
Nevertheless, they escaped with the W. Now I'm looking around the NFL and I'm looking for.
Oh, you don't want to meander down to the Bay?
Which Bay would that be?
The West Coast Bay.
Yes. Let's go ahead and mosey on over to San Francisco. Unserious. No, honestly, so Justin and I also kind of discussed this. I honestly don't think that was that bad a loss for the Niners, and I'm not ready to call them unserious until I see Sam Darnold start. But I just think it was a better just performance by the Bengals in that game. But 3 on the bounce.
I didn't say they have to like disappear. They're obviously still gonna make the playoffs, and they're obviously still gonna be a contender. But my whole point is, they just need to. I just need them to not get the 1 seed, and I just need to keep losing games so that the Cowboys just avoid them altogether. And that's okay if they want to drop a game to the Bengals because Purdy don't know how to hold on to the football, especially in the red zone. Then I'm okay with it, and especially if they don't want to cover Jamar Chase and T. Higgins too. That helps too.
Yeah, I mean, Jamar Chase had a monster game, and I know Tyler Boyd got a touchdown as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so, I mean, you got 3 receivers out there that can all play. And then you had Brock Purdy. I swear when I was like, I didn't watch the game live, but what I did see, every other pass, it was like, all right, I either hit him right on the numbers or this was one of the worst throws I've ever thrown in my life. And then he should have had a third interception. There's one where, I forget who the linebacker is. He jumps up and swats. He has a chance to catch it, but he kind of swats it. If it goes past him, it's a definite pick. There are 2, I think there was a corner and a linebacker right there. Easy pick. So, I mean, the man just turning it over left and right now.
Well, to Ian's point, he wasn't like awful. Like he was actually moving the ball pretty relatively.
That's what I was
easily.
confused because Rudy, you said you saw the highlights, but like all the highlights except for those 2 picks, he was moving the ball. So I was like, I don't.
No,
understand
that's
how
where I
they
said
didn't do
some
anything.
passes. No, that's where I said like some passes were perfect on the money. Like I'm not saying you played like straight trash the entire game because definitely. But I mean, if he's going to make those mistakes, and that's what's going to happen. Yeah,
and it's one of those things too, where this got him in trouble at Iowa State. I don't know if I think it's something to observe. And granted, they got the bye, so maybe Shanahan can get back in his ear. But that man got too much confidence for my liking, and it plagued him at Iowa State when he wanted to try and make a broken play into something, and then like that one at the goal line that shouldn't have happened. That was
Yeah,
not that was
that was.
unacceptable.
People say that was a fluke, but I just think that was just an awful play by him, and yeah, it should be recognized. It's just a terrible interception by him, not a fluke. And that second interception, I think he just didn't see the linebacker, which happens. But hopefully, it messes with his confidence. But Rudy thinks they'll be back with that Chase Young trade. So,
I mean, it doesn't hurt really.
I guess we can look at the Eagles. Nah.
We talked enough about them.
True.
Oh, what about speaking of? I know we don't really care too much about the AFC, but I do think it's worth mentioning. Unacceptable by Kansas City, bro. Unacceptable. To be toting out that you dominate that team and then you just let that team
True, that was the
embarrass you like that?
statistic going into that game was they don't lose to this team, and they just messed all over themselves that game.
I don't care about flu. I don't care about a certain someone not being in the stands, because if y'all gonna keep throwing a graphic up there, can I ask, do you think someone as famous as that person is gonna want to go to Kansas City in December and January? No, like, so let's be honest. They got an issue. I'm willing to put unserious Baltimore as number one in my book, but I know everyone's gonna be like, you can't go against a QB1, but
Yeah, I mean, I know you said you don't care about flu, and I'm not gonna say like that should be the sole reason that they only put up 9 points. But I don't expect this to be the norm. I mean, the Broncos dropping 20. I guess the Chiefs' defense isn't that great, but I didn't expect them to get 3 touchdowns, and they're trash.
They got gifted a touchdown basically.
McCole Hartman fumbled the punt.
Yeah,
That's true.
and then I think KC was just dead.
No, Rudy, the Kansas City defense is the one been carrying them all year. That offense got worse. So
yeah, no, they definitely can't play like they just did. That was trash. All right, it's now time for the pick'ems. Ian, you got an update for us after the bye week?
I do. Justin ran away with it this week with he had a 3-game lead on the pick'ems week 8. So the total now, but I'm still in the lead, 52 wins. Justin's 48, and all by himself. One Rudy Guerra with 43.
Just like McCarthy be saying, we're going to string a couple of weeks together, and then we're going to look up at the end of the season and be satisfied.
Right now I feel like the San Francisco 49ers, I've lost 3 weeks in a row, but I'm still that guy. Don't worry about it.
Bro, you've been losing since last season. What are we talking about?
I was goofing last season. I'm like the Texas Rangers. Bad season before, 50-1 odds to win it.
Boy.
My odds are long to win it, but baby, I shall prevail. And
Rudy got Josh McDaniel PR. He's still doing his job.
No, that man. Okay, anyway, let's go to Thursday night. Okay, anyway, Thursday night football, where we have the Titans and Steelers, and it's the Titans +3. Who did y'all have on that one again?
I had the Titans.
Steelers.
All right, and I had the Titans as well. So we'll see if Justin and I can get that one. Moving on, though.
Rudy, before we go on, Rudy, our last Thursday night bet, me and you got bailed out by some fake heroics from Baker Mayfield.
What happened? Oh, the last touchdown?
Yeah.
Yes.
took that game from Ian for us. So that's maybe this week will be the same.
Okay. And moving on to Sunday, where we've got the Miami Dolphins taking on the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City.
It's in Germany.
In Germany. Apologies. Hitting Europe up. So it's the Dolphins at +2 right now. Do y'all? Who you got?
Look, they're unserious, but give me the Fins. I gotta stop you.
Oh, yikes! Give me Kansas City.
I'll take the +2 with the Dolphins.
I'm sure Tyreek Hill will have like 200 yards, but knowing the Dolphins, they'll find a way to lose. So
Okay. And yeah, Dolphins
by less
for me.
than one.
Moving back to the States, I think. The Vikings are taking on the Falcons in Atlanta. Justin's own in the Netherlands.
you think Germany would want that game too?
Two
new quarterbacks got Taylor Heineke now at the helm.
Well, they don't plan them week to week. But anyway, in Atlanta, and the spread at the moment is Vikings +4. Who you got?
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Y'all said both Atlanta?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. All right, Atlanta. Moving on. We got the Seahawks taking on the Ravens. Got the Birds going. It's +6 Seattle at the moment.
Fellas, where is this?
Who you got? This one is in Baltimore or Italy. I'm not sure.
Give me Baltimore.
You said +6?
That's right.
Ooh, I'll take the Seahawks.
I too will take the Seahawks. +6 is just too much for Baltimore to cover, or -6 for the Ravens, I guess.
Y'all believe that much in the Seattle Seahawks?
You know,
do we need to go back?
Nature of the Ravens.
Yeah, I said, do we have to revisit that serious conversation?
So is Seahawks though, like. But I digress. Move on.
You can't beat the Ravens at their own game, my friend.
And now we move on to the team that almost did it against the Ravens. Well, not really. But the Cardinals are taking on the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland. The spread is currently +6 to the Cardinals. Who you got?
Does anybody know the status on these quarterbacks?
I think it might be.
I'm sorry. Hold on. It's not +6. It's +8.
Ooh. Nevertheless, it's like Clayton Tune starting for Arizona. So give me the Browns.
Gosh, still, but I see this being like 10-7. But yeah, give me the Browns.
I got Browns to cover as well. Moving on, we've got the Rams going to Green Bay to take on the Packers. Oh. Who you got?
What is it?
It's a noon kick.
No, like what's the spread?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, +3 to the Rams, might be.
Yikes.
I need the weather report for this game.
Give me the Rams because I don't have a clue what the Packers are doing or trying to do.
Ian?
Screw it. Go Pack, go.
And it's go Pack, go for me. So that's either really good news, Ian, or yeah. It's not always good when you take my side, apparently.
The argument, go Pack, go, is good enough.
Moving on, we've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to Houston to take on the Texans, where the Texans are spotted. Tampa Bay is spotted 2.5 points. Who do you got there?
Give me Tampa Bay.
They'll bounce back. Give me the Texans.
I too will take the Texans. Ian, it's going to be a good week for you.
Jesus.
Moving on, we've got the Commanders traveling to Foxborough to take on the Patriots. The Commanders are +3 right now. Who you got?
Give me the Commanders. Even though they just fire-sold the whole defense.
Yeah, that can't be good for morale, so I will take the Pats.
I too will take the Pats. Dang, Chief, you're killing it. Patriots. Moving on, we've got the Chicago Bears traveling to Nolans to take on the Saints. Right now, it's a +8.5 to Chicago. Who you got?
Jeez.
It's still.
Is Baguette still the quarterback?
Yeah, he's still he's still the starter.
Okay. Give me the car.
The car, man.
All right. 8.5's a lot, and I don't trust New Orleans enough. I guess I'm going with Baguette. Give me the Bears.
What a statement. I don't trust them enough, so give me Baggett.
He on that Chris Collinsworth School of Broadcast.
Oh, wow. What a shot there. Moving on. We're going into the 3 o'clock games now where the Colts are traveling to Carolina to take on the Panthers.
Oh.
Panthers are plus 2.5 at home right now. Who you got?
Give me the mustache.
Give me the Carolina Panthers.
Man, either Ian and I are just going to skyrocket this week or Justin's going to be destroying us. I got the Panthers. Oh, no. Okay. Moving on. We've got the Gigantes, the Giants, traveling to Vegas, take on the new look Raiders.
I hope
The
this
Raiders
is a 3
are.
game. Is this
Sorry?
a 3 o'clock game?
This is a 3 o'clock game.
Okay.
Ooh.
Right now, it's Raiders minus 1.5. Who you got?
I'm gonna go with Crosby. He's gonna rally the troops.
Crosby's the quarterback for the Raiders?
No.
No.
He's talking about.
Oh, Max Crosby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will go with the Raiders just because they got that stink off them.
Clean sweep for the Raiders. The Dallas Cowboys are traveling to Philly to take on the Eagles. Eagles are minus 3 at the moment. Who do y'all got there?
Give me the Eagles, I suppose.
Well, you know what? He took the Eagles, so I will take the Cowboys.
All right. Ian, this is where I drop you off. Go ahead and give me the Eagles. Moving on to Sunday Night Football, where we have the Buffalo Bills traveling to Cincinnati, where the spread is minus 2 to the Bengals. Who do y'all got?
Give me the Bengals.
I too suppose the Bengals.
It's a clean sweep for the Beagles there.
I was about to lose it when you announced the Bills were on Sunday night, but then you said the Bengals, so I was like, all right, fine.
Just you wait till what's the Monday night game.
Monday Night Football. We have the Chargers traveling to Jersey to take on the Jets. The spread is plus 3.5 to the Jets. Who you got?
Give me the Jets, Jets.
Yeah, I too will take the Jets.
I will also take the team with a football for a logo that's green. Give me the Jets.
Anything else?
Nah.
Let's go!